Hello everyone, I think we are live. Tonight I'm going to be painting a zombie because this was one of your requests. I think this was Nick's request. This will be done in acrylic. Now I pre-painted the background because the way, and I wanted to show you guys how to do this, but it's not really possible because the dry time and the layer and all that to do it on a live stream. So I pre-recorded this so I can show you how this is done. I'm working as always on a or as usual I should say. I mean, it's always Fredrix, but sometimes it's a different watercolor or different canvas. But this is a Fredrix Canvas board. This one is their Pro Series Dixie 20 ounce, I think. It is not that yellow. It's like that. That color is weird on that camera. But I'm working on that canvas board. These canvas boards are amazing. This is an 8x10 and it's not going to warp like the crap that you've probably sworn off from Hobby Lobby or Michael's or whatever, where it's shortly after you use it, it looks like a boat. Not a thing with the Fredrix ones. These are amazing canvas boards. And when you display these, you can either set them on like a shelf against the wall, or you can put them in an open frame. And these are actually very, very easy to frame. Any standard 8x10 frame that you get, like a photo frame that has glass, like cheapest frame you can find at Walmart or wherever, pop out the glass, put this in its place, done, framed. So easy to frame, so much more than your thicker canvases. So the first thing that we're going to start with is going through how to get these stripes. There's a few things that you want to be aware of on getting that smooth look. Now, if you've ever tried tape before, you know that paint slides underneath and you end up with this kind of jagged line where the wet paint got where you didn't want it to go. It's not an issue of the paint. It doesn't even matter if your canvas is super smooth, although that does help. It's that paint, no matter what, is going to make its way under. My glasses are wholly dirty. Oh my gosh, hold on. Let's go ahead and clean that. Apparently I'm going to use a Dahlia cloth. Like, why can't I see anything? What did I do that got these that dirty? That's almost impressive. Whoa, I can see you now. You look very nice tonight. Okay, so moving on. The reason that this happens, or this is going to happen no matter what, is my point. Now, there are two methods that I often use in order to make sure that line is super clean. If you are doing like what I'm doing tonight, where the pattern is just straight, there's no gradient or anything, then the method that I'm going to show you works with using the same color as your background paint. If you are using, and I'll explain this more in a second, but I just kind of want to have this in your head. If you are painting something, let's say you did a huge like sunset, now you need to paint a water line and you want to make sure you've got a clean line. You could put tape, but you can't, there's no one color in the sunset behind it. You've got multiple colors. You can use a clear gesso. That's typically what I use, or a clear matte medium. You just need to make sure it's clear. That will work too. The point is that you need something that is going to slide under the tape that matches, that isn't the new color, basically. So let's go ahead and take a look at this, and I will show you how, where is that file? Okay, so you want to start with, that is good enough. You want to start with whatever your background color is going to be. In this case, I mixed a combination of deep violet, black, Mars black, and white to get my base color. And I could have done the reverse. In this case, it doesn't matter. You want to make sure whichever color you're doing the stripes, ideally, it's going to be more opaque. Both the colors I'm using are super opaque because I used so much black and white in both mixes. But I went ahead and started with my background color here. The next thing that you're going to do is put in on your tape. Get that all lined up. However you need to do, you can see I'm using just regular masking tape for this. Now, I'm going to take the same color I used on my background and paint the line in between the tape and the canvas there. See how I can just go right back over my background color. I'm going right over the tape. You just need to make sure that the color that you're using here is the same color as the background, and you want to mix extra. Don't try to color match. It's never going to be the same. That is defeating your purpose here. We want the exact color so that when that bit sneaks under the tape, no one even noticed. You can't see that it happened. I do this when I do my walls too. Now, I've got textured walls in my house. My laundry room, I did the stripes like this with a gray tone, a flat one and a gloss one. So it looks like I've got two different colored stripes, even though it's the exact same color. One's just matte, one's gloss. It came out beautiful. But the way that I got that clean line was to put the tape down and then take the same color as my base wall. So the matte, I put that down before I did the gloss stripes. And you get this perfect clean line, even though I've got textured walls. And so there was tons of paint slipping under that tape. So you're just going to go ahead and go through and paint everywhere over this. Make sure that and I'm putting them pretty heavy. I want to make sure this is soaking right under that tape. I want it to slide under. This is going to make it nice and clean. And again, if you have a gradient of any sort in your background where you're not doing solid colors like this, use a clear gesso or a clear matte medium. Either one is fine. You just want to make sure something is basically what's sliding under the tape there. I thought this sped up here. I guess not. I can't even get it to fast forward easily. I could have sworn I fast forwarded this. Oh, I did, but a different part. We're almost done. We're just gonna let it play because I don't know how to use my technology well enough to skip this part and not totally screw it all up. Okay, finish painting it. The other thing, make sure your base color is 100% dry, like dry. If it is not completely dry, this tape will pull some of that color up. So again, extra time making sure it's dry and cool. I painted that background color hours before I put the tape on. Oh, look, there's the side of my, oh no, that's my neck. Glad I was dressed. I didn't even notice that that was in the video. I'm always dressed. It's fine. So now we're going to go ahead and dry this. And this is the same thing. I want to make sure it's nice and dry before I go on to the next. This, it's not as important as the base layer being completely dry. That was a bigger deal. Now I'm going to take my second coat, my second color, and go ahead and paint that where you actually wanted it to be. Really, in this case, because my tape is covering the way it is, I can just paint over the entire thing. I could use a big brush and be sloppy, but I do want to make sure it's on nice and opaque and that I'm not having any brush strokes or globs or anything there. And we are just going to go through this part. I did speed up. Yeah, Nadine said people who paint walls have been doing this since the invention of painter's tape. Never thought of doing it on canvas though. Yeah, it works really well. And painting. The main thing, normally when I do this on canvas, usually I'm not doing a solid color like this, so usually I'm using a clear matte medium or clear gesso. Oh look, I did speed it up. See, I put effort into editing this. And make sure that's all nice and smooth. And this is more of a lavender color. It's the same color as my background, just a lot more white. So deep violet, black and white. And then the most satisfying part, make sure that's completely dry before you pull the tape. Otherwise, some of the wet part can accidentally drip. Look how nice and clean those lines are. And this is going to solve all your messy problems. Now, the paint is on kind of thick. I put a layer between the lines and then I put, look how clean that is. Like it's perfect lines. But it's on there pretty thick. And so when you feel or touch the canvas, let's stop that, that is it. When you touch the canvas, I can feel a little bit of a ridge there. Now this is actually less than I expected it to be. It's not a big deal, but if it does bother you, what you can do next on those areas is take a piece of sandpaper. This is a 220 grit sandpaper, and I've already got my bee or my zombie drawn out. I can just lightly go over the lines there and just remove that ridge just a little bit so I'm not fighting it later on. And honestly, in this case, I don't really need to do this because this one didn't end up being, I'm not sure why it wasn't as bad as I expected it to be because I had that paint on there pretty thick. And I'm just gonna lightly go over that. And it just softens that up so I'm not like fighting that, like paint hitting that ridge where the paint is thicker. So that is how you get super smooth lines. And then of course I've got my zombie was pre-drawn out. I drew this on my digital tablet and then traced it onto tracing paper. You slide a piece of transfer paper under. If you're unfamiliar with that, let me just show you really quick in case you're new. I used white transfer paper and you just slide that on under, just pieces like that, basically carbon paper, and then take your stylus and you can trace over everything. Okay, now I recommend always keep your tracing because let's say I'm painting and I realize, I mean this is a cartoon so it's not that big of a deal, but if you're doing something realistic, let's say you're painting and you realize, oh my gosh, my eyes aren't in the right place, you're doing a dog or something like that and they don't seem right, you can put your tracing back over it and double check your work. So we've got that all on there. I may have to adjust the color. It's not terrible. Mine is much more color saturated in person. I'll show you what colors mine are. And as always, if you're in the US, you can bid on this. The starting bid is $75. If you want a zombie of your own, you'll be bidding on this actual bee. Let me show you on this one. Usually the color is, yeah, that's pretty accurate. Mine's a little bit, compared to the camera, I would say mine's a little bit more violet-y. just a little bit. That's pretty close though. Okay. So now we can get started. Yeah, that took me to do those stripes. It does take a long time because you have to wait for it to completely dry between layers, which obviously not practical for a live stream, but it does take time. So don't expect to do that super quick. If you want it to look nice like that, you've really got to let that dry in between. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I think I'm going to start with the green floof, and I'm going to start by painting that white so that and I don't care if some of the stripes show through, it's not a big deal, but I do want it to be mostly white so that the green that I paint over it will stand out. If I were to just paint the green, I'll show you if you are unfamiliar with this. If I just paint green over this, wherever it is, see how it doesn't really, that's actually a lime green. That looks super yellow on camera. I am going to have to adjust that, I'm sure. But this, see how it's not opaque. So what I'm gonna do is paint it white, and that will let my green color really show up. And yeah, that is super yellow. Let me see if I can adjust the color. We always know I've got to constantly adjust these as we go, but that one is pretty bad. Or it could just crash. I mean, I guess that works too. You totally just crashed on me. The whole computer better not have crashed. Just that, I guess. We're not gonna, why? Why is this happening to me? Maybe we're stuck with that color. Yeah, it did this before, and the only way I was able to fix it was to completely restart the computer, which obviously I'm not going to do tonight, so I think we're going to have to deal with the fact that this is kind of a yellowy, like it's not, it doesn't look like it really looks in the thing, so I apologize. I'll have to keep pulling it into this camera to show you as we go. I'm not going to crash the whole stream. I'm glad that's happened before, so I knew what the fix was and what not to do. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and paint in, start with where the floof is going to go here. And I don't want that much water. That is way too translucent. And it doesn't need to be perfect. I just don't want to be fighting those stripes. It's going to go right behind the wings. There's a little bit of that yellowy color mixed in there right now. I just want to get my white and my black blocked in. Whoops. Okay, that coffee is in the worst possible. Okay, I need to rearrange my drinks. I have my drinks, by the way. I did put a link. I am obsessed with this tea right now. It's Twinings cinnamon orange or orange cinnamon. Oh my God, making it into iced tea. It is so good. I put the link in the video description because it's amazing. And then my coffee as usual. But the coffee I have to move because it is right where my water is, which means that's not going to end well. Okay. And then we've got this one back here. And then his little butt. And now I'm going to do the black. Again, this doesn't have to be completely solid because, oh, that's cute. Alexa says, I'm looking forward to painting this one. My husband wants one. But I'm not looking forward to I'm not looking to make this completely solid. Like I can see the stripe through that a little. Once I paint the green and stuff, it's okay if some of that pokes through. Don't worry about it being solid because we are going to be putting details over it, but get it close. Okay, and then we've got the black floof. Too much water in my brush. I tried an apple cinnamon tea. It's okay. It's a different brand. It's Celestial Seasoning, so it's not even real tea. I'm pretty sure it's just microplastics. I don't know. But that one had a very fake taste to it. It's not one I would run out and buy again. And unfortunately, I bought a box of like 100 of them. So I was like, oh, if the orange one's that good, the apple one will be that good. Well, it was a different brand, which I didn't realize when I ordered. And it's okay. You definitely have to make it weak because it's like the fake apple taste to it. And cinnamon too. It's almost like they used a, the cinnamon wasn't real cinnamon on that one. Like it was like those liquid drop cinnamons. Like, I don't know, I'm not buying that one again. And we've got back here, and see how I'm just painting over that wing. I'm probably just going to use my tracing and transfer paper to redraw that to make my life easier. And if you're new to my channel, I typically work in realism, but sometimes it's fun to do something that's more cartoony. And for holiday stuff especially. We will definitely be having stickers made for those of you on the higher tier on Patreon. We will be making stickers in the future of this little girl. Okay, I'm gonna dry that before I paint the eyes in, so I'm not smudging the white and the black paint. Dang, I was drying fast tonight. Or maybe it's just because I've gotten used to, when I painted the background, I put it on so thick it took a while to dry. Okay, let's go with a slightly smaller, oh, you aren't in healthy condition. I need a brush that's in a healthy condition, not one that I've not been taking care of, which apparently is all of the brushes in this collection here. Looks like someone should be doing a better job with her brushes. Eh, maybe you'll work. Guess we'll find out. I want to make sure there's enough water in that brush and enough paint loaded on it that I can get that nice smooth outer line. Also notice I'll do smaller short brush strokes inside, but when I do the outer edge, watch how it's one long brush stroke. Don't do this. We don't want a fluffy eye. I mean, okay, kind of. Some of the fluff will go over the eye, so you could kind of get away with it, but mostly I'm going to do one long, I need to reload that brush. There's a little hair sticking out. Oh well. But try to do it in one nice, and I'm adding a decent amount of pressure to that brush, and that's helping me to get that smooth brush stroke. Reload for the other side. Just going to flip this over to make my life easier. And now I can fill that in. And I can fill it in a couple of layers to get it super white. Okay, I'm gonna let that dry. Actually, I can paint his bow too, or her bow. I always say his. Her bow. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush, and I'm going to paint that white first for the same reason. That way the pink, when I paint that on, it'll really show up. I'm not going to worry about the inside of the bow, just that outer area where I want it to be pink. And I can still see my brush strokes here. The outer edge I want smooth, but I don't really care if the inside shows a little bit of brush strokes. You're not going to notice it that much. Okay. Rinse that brush, put it to the side, and let's go ahead. I can start anywhere, really. Let's start with the purple in her face, in her eyes. So I'm going to go ahead and dry that again. Now, if you are new, like I am, I don't do cartoon type things very often. And so I don't just sit there and like, oh, I know exactly how I'm going to draw this. What I do when I'm trying to come up with something kind of cutesy like this is go online. I typed in cute zombie. And so it did not zombie, but like zombie, Z-O-M-B-I-E, just to get an idea of what things make them look cute. So I wanted to get an idea of color, so I had to choose a color thing, and I actually made a list of what I wanted to include. So I saw a bow, the girls with a bow, that definitely cute, makes them cute. The eyes, making them solid white. I saw other cartoons that had made solid white eyes. I'm like, okay, that's perfect for a bee since their eyes are typically black. That's like really, different than usual. But just getting an idea of the face, like I liked where they're just overly plump. He got a lot of cupcakes. That sort of thing, like getting an idea of those just by looking at other cartoons. Now mine doesn't look anything like any other one that I saw, but it was a compilation of just, I like this aspect, I like these colors in this one, I like this facial expression in this one. And again, I was just looking at zombies, not bees that were zombies. And then I came up with my idea from there. But that's what I do when I'm trying to do something that's a little bit different than my usual. Because you still need reference photos, even if it's a cartoon, and you still want those. Okay, let's get some hair on her. So I'm going to use a rake brush. If you don't have a rake brush, you can use just a liner brush or a small round brush and just individually draw in your little hairs. But I'm going to mix some purple and some white. I'm going to pull, actually, let's do the red violet, deep violet. I changed my mind. I don't want purple. I want deep violet. So it's closer to what my background is. So white, and I'm going to pull a little bit of black in there. Now I can pull some purple. Maybe a little bit more purple. I'm coming out really pink. There we go. Oh, we have, which is perfect because I have to rinse this brush anyway before I actually start. I'm going to use my fine mist sprayer and lightly mist that color so it doesn't dry though. Also, why are you not spraying well? There you go. From Karen said, for the boys, would you like a super chat? Like, yes, we haven't had one yet. We were wondering what was going on. We got big ones. Here you go. Take it to your bed. Good boys. Thank you so much. Well, your ears are so soft. Thanks again. Go lay down, Wade. You can take it to your bed too. Go lay down, Cal. Down, down, down. Okay. So now let's load this brush. Now, one of the things, I used this brush to mix my paint. If I were to then immediately start trying to paint with it, it would go on too globby, would not work. So that's why I said it was good, because I needed to rinse it anyway. So I rinsed it and then reloaded it. Now we should be ready to go. And I'm going to start putting, oh, I need way more white though. That is not showing up enough. And it's too thick. I need to rinse it again and reload. Let's try that again. There we go. And these are going to be the highlights. So one of the things that I liked with a lot of the zombie cartoons, and just in general, when I think of Halloween, purple and green together are just, I think they're perfect Halloween colors. So that is why I'm using these. Actually, you know what would be easier? Let's do the reverse. Let's make my life, I know I've got plenty of time since I'd already done the background. I'm gonna make this easier. There are so many different ways to get to the same end, and that's why you'll often see me change my mind halfway through something. I'm gonna reload. I'm going to take that paint, and now I can put it on thicker, and I'm not worried about trying to get this perfect blend. I just care about the color, and I'm gonna put this wherever I want the highlight, and then I'm gonna take my black paint in between where I want my little hairs. I'm just going to put this anywhere where I want more floof. And I can also use this on the edges like this. I'm just holding this as a tack lumber sold filbert. I'm just holding it to the side to get these little floofy lines right around those edges. Oh, I already like this one. I can tell she's going to be cute. I'm going to put a little bit more purple on mine than what I've got on my digital painting I had done. And if you don't have, I love the tablets for coming up with ideas of stuff. If you don't have, like, I've got the Wacom tablet. Those are ridiculously expensive, and I understand most people aren't going to want to invest in that. If you've got an iPad, I use my Samsung tablet. You can use those to draw things. I use them all the time. They're really good for this sort of thing. good timing because that needs to cool. We've got another super chat from Kristen. Thank you so much. Cal. He's like, oh, really? How can I say no? Like, show your sad cow face. So, but you said super chat, so I came. That means to come. Okay, fine. Even though I didn't technically call you, I did say the word. So he's not the brightest of my critters. So, you know, we're going to go with close enough. Good boys. This nail, I did the nail. I'll tell you guys more about these ones. I did my nails again. I don't know if you can see. Oh, it's always blurry on that one. I'll show on this screen. I've got cute Halloween nails, but this batch, it's like weirdly thin. And when Gibson's nail rubbed on my thumb, my finger, I'm wondering if that's going to come off. Go lay down, lay down, lay down. Actually, that company I want to talk about anyway because it's a good lesson for everybody about good customer service. Lillian Fox is amazing. I'll tell you about that after the stream. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, they're the stickers I use on my nails. But even if you're not interested in nails, it's actually a really good example of some of the best customer service I've seen in forever. So kind of, I love seeing that. Okay. So I've got my purple where I want. I'm going to show you what my color looks like over here since this is more accurate. You can see I went pretty much, there's her head, pretty similar to my background colors. Okay, now I'm going to use my rake brush for black paint. Do I have a bigger rake brush over here? I'd rather use a bigger one if I've got it, but I may not be able to find it. I mean, I know I own a bigger one. Where it's located, oh, there. Oh, you're a little bit on the too big side. I've got a few over here though. Oh, I've got a bunch of bigger ones over here. What brand are you? This is Princeton. Huh. I didn't even know where you came from. That actually, you might be too big. Okay, let's use this one. It's kind of in the middle. Oh, wait, black. We talked about this, black. Now I don't have to worry about getting the perfect opacity and it's too thin, so it's not showing up. This is just gonna go easier. Okay. And I am going to just give her some, whoop, too thick. That has way too much paint on it and not enough water. And that's the thing with rake brushes. They take a little getting used to, but even though I use them all the time, I still am like, I'll make a brush stroke and be like, well, nope, that's too much. I don't think I have enough. There we go. If you push too hard, they work like a filbert instead of a rake brush. If you don't push hard enough, it doesn't really, nothing happens. If you don't have enough water or enough paint, you've got to have like the perfect balance of water, paint, and pressure to get it to do what you want it to do. There we go. And if I get this on the eye or anything else, it's no big deal because I can just go over that with white. Much better. Okay, and then let's get a little bit over here. Just make her look fluffy. Now I'm going to paint solid green, well, the light green into the dark green. Now this is, you know how I often say, whenever you're using these yellowish tones, you really don't want to use black. So I've got a yellowy green I'm going to be using. It's actually, what is the actual name for anyone interested? It is light olive green, but it's kind of close to yellow. It's a yellowy green. When you mix yellow and greens, or yellows and black together, you get an ugly green. I want ugly green because I've got a zombie. So this is going to be one of those cases where I will be pulling in black intentionally to get an uglier color. I'll throw some purple in there too for the shading, but I'm going to start with the lighter color. And it's just like a fluorescent. Here it looks yellow. It is not yellow. Oh, I'll show you over here. And I can't apparently fix that camera tonight. Oh, that looks yellow too. Never mind, it's not even that camera. Okay, it's a lime green. It's like yellow green. It is not that yellow. And none of my cameras are going to pick that up. You can kind of see that's a little bit closer, kind of, but it's, yeah. Unfortunately, that is not going to look super accurate. It looks way better in person. I hate when that happens. I mean, I'm always happy when they look better because if somebody buys it, I want to make sure they're getting some like better than what they expected, but that is not even, it looks yellow. I'm not painting a yellow bee. That was the whole point. Oh, I'm disappointed in you cameras. How could you fail me like this? I mean, you fail me all the time, but this is a bit extreme. I'm going to pull some green. This is Hooker's green. Just in that transition. rinse that brush. I'm going to start pulling black and purple. This is just creating the most perfect, ugly, muddy, like, what in the world have you done color, which is exactly what I want. I'm going to pull more of the green. Get that yellowy green in. I'm going to let that transition. Looks like I won't even need black, actually. The purple gave me enough of that muddy color I wanted. Oh, that is so not even close to what the cameras are picking up. I apologize. I may have to take a photo on my phone camera and send it to myself when it's done, so anyone who is interested in bidding, you know you're getting a zombie and not just a bee being called a zombie. Yep, that's good. Okay, and then his little butt stays, or her little butt stays white. So we're going to go ahead and dry this, and then we can start putting the little hairs on top. Now I'm going to be mixing some white in with my green, my light olive green, which is going to look like I'm doing light yellow because my cameras want to be sad today. That is going to be too thick. I need to rinse that brush. Teresa said, between acrylic projects, do you rinse out the most moist yellow sponge palette and let it dry out? What are you talking about? Or do you throw it out and use it as a fresh yellow? What yellow sponge are you? Oh, I don't use a sponge in my Masterson's container at all. Those things are going to build up so much bacteria and smell horrible, and they're disgusting. Toss it. All I do if I want to keep anything wet in my Masterson's paint palette, I have a New Wave glass palette, and I scrape, like the part that I'm mixing, this will dry. This will be dry by the end of the night, so that part I don't try to save. But these globs of paint can stay wet. I take a paper towel, get that wet, like soak it in water, and not so it's dripping, but so that you've got the moisture in there, and I seal that into my Masterson's palette, because that I can just toss every time, and it's not a problem, and I don't end up with stinky, nasty, wet sponges. That's disgust. I hate wet sponges. So that is a big fluffy nope for me. Good question. I like the idea of like having these art supplies. So if you don't know what we're talking about, the Masterson's palette, they have a system. They have these pads you can put in there to keep, it's a stay wet palette. And what this is a big, let me show you over here. You can kind of see big Tupperware basically, and it's got a lid that seals the air out. What they want you to use is their spongy paper, their stay wet palette. That is the same thing, like that wet, for one, it gunks up the paint weird. I don't like that. But some people will just keep a wet sponge in there. That's disgusting. That is just, it's gonna smell. Like, and if you can't smell it, then I hate to be the one to tell you, but when people walk by you in the store and they keep doing this, it's because you've been leaving your clothes in the washing machine too long and they stink and you are nose blind to it. Like if you can't smell the stinky sponge, you're probably nose blind to your clothes also being stinky from staying wet too long. There was someone in where were we this weekend? Oh, someone reeked. And you couldn't go near that aisle where this guy was. It was bad. But he was nose blind to it. Like it smelled so bad. And that's what happened. Those sponges, like if you're not smelling it, you're just nose blind. They smell terrible. They're disgusting. And I mean, they just they build up and breed so much bacteria just staying wet sponge. Nope. Wade, stop. I know it's you. I don't even have to look. Oh, it wasn't. I'm sorry, Bad Cow. That was Gibson. He does this thing. Gibson's doing it now. You can kind of see him over there. He puts his head down to his chest, and then he like suckles himself. And it is the most annoying sound. Yeah, huh? But they'll start making their skin wet or red from doing that. So it's not even just me being annoyed easily. It actually irritates their skin. And I'm just making little hairs here. And again, if you don't have this, use a liner brush and just do individual little hairs, or a little round brush. You can do the individual little hairs. How many of you are wondering if you're nose blind to stinky clothes now? You guys know what I'm talking about though, right? Like, I'm sure some of you have experienced that where it's like, ooh, not good. I'm going to use a little bit more white for some of the highlights up here. I'm not pushing very hard. If I push hard, it just works like a tackle and bristled brush. I don't get the individual little hairs. Oh, she's so cute and fluffy. And I'm letting some of this overlap the black a bit. So we want that crossover. Like right here, it could be a bit fluffier. I wish you could see how green she is. Okay, I'm going to pull some more green. I'm going to take a little bit of green, a little bit of yellow, so I get this horrible, ugly color on purpose. There's definitely not going to be enough water on that brush. I'm going to pull a few, too thick. That's what happens when you blend with the brush and you don't rinse it after. Yep, I have to rinse it. Oh, I thought I could get away with it, and I can't. See, this is what happens when you don't follow your own rules. And I dabbed some of that water off because it was going to be way too much. And I'm just going to pull some darker shadows in between a few of these areas. So we get this horrible green. Oh, it's perfect. I love it. I'm not going to be sad if no one bids on this one. Okay, now I'm going to paint her eyes white again before I paint the black. I can use a larger brush this time. I want that to be super one solid color. Okay. I need to dry that. Yeah, Teresa said I have the glass palette tube and putting the sponge thing under it because I thought that's what keeps it moist. It would. So you're supposed to actually put the paint on the sponge thing. Like if it's the pad, you're supposed to put the paint on it and that you like tear off a piece and reuse whatever. They've got a few different types, so I'm not positive which one yours is. But yeah, just a paper towel, a wet paper towel. Like I usually leave it in one of the corners of, actually, usually it's this corner. I have just a paper towel sitting there with water on it and it'll keep it totally wet and you don't get stink. Like you just toss it and put a new one in next time you paint. And way cheaper and less stinky. Okay, let's go ahead and we're going to glaze for the wings. So I'm going to be using, and let's see if this is at all more green or the right color over here. Kinda. It's a little bit better. It's still too yellow. It is definitely more of a lime green, but that is much closer. Look how fluffy. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this one. I just got goosebumps because of the cuteness. I'm on this cute kick lately. You guys know what squishables are. They have the moths. They had a white poodle moth and a, what was it, a death hawk's moth or a death hawk moth or something like that. I don't know. They're kind of round like this and adorable. And I splurged today or this weekend and bought myself those. My rule of no spending money went out the window when I saw moth squishables. Okay, I'm an adult. I'm going to take a tackle and bristled filbert and some black paint. And I'm not going to go all the way to the end here. I want some of the white to show on the outer edge. And I want this paint on pretty thick so I get this nice smooth. This brush is not in the healthiest of condition, unfortunately. Actually, no, I'm going to regret that. That brush, it has hair sticking out all over. Pretty sure that was going to come out of my work. Let's see if I've got one that's healthier. Let's see how healthy you are. Another tackle and bristled filbert. This is what happens when you don't take good care of your brushes. But always keep your crappy brushes because sometimes like if they're frayed and just old and really used, they will sometimes work so much better for certain techniques than a healthy brush. This isn't going to go well. No, it's okay. I'm going to have to clean up my edges though. Oh, this one would have been better. That one is actually in good condition. How did I not see you? I'm trying to round these off. Hold on. Let me just pull this in my lap so I can round the ends of that brush stroke. There we go. Actually, I'm going to chop some of this off by taking some water. I want her to look up, so I'll have to cover some of that. Hold on, I'm changing her expression just a little bit. I like my digital painting location a little bit better than what I've got here. And then wherever there's black smudging, I'll go over with the white. But I want her to look up a bit more. I pulled that down too far. Where I was almost getting a cat's eye sort of thing because it was so far down. And what I'm doing is just taking water on a clean brush, and it works like an eraser, as long as what's underneath is dry. Just do that. Fixed. Okay. Let's go ahead and now do the wings. And I'll do her bow. Which brush do I want for the wings? We'll use this. And I'm going to take the yellowy green color. And I'm thinning that out with water. And I just have to watch to not go over where the holes in her wings are. I want the background to show through. Oops, that's not it. You are not a hole. You can be filled in. And so by thinning it with water, this makes it more transparent. I mean, that color is fairly translucent anyway, but it makes it a lot more by putting water in it. And it isn't, again, mine is green. It is not that horrible yellow color you're seeing. Which is funny, that yellow would work if I wanted a real bee. Again, painting around those holes. Okay, now I'm going to pull some purple. I'm going to rinse that brush. I'm going to thin some purple down with water. Make sure this wing is cut off by her body. And I'm just leaving little streaks in there. And then we'll pull some highlights with white. Thin that with a bit of water too. Make sure that hole stays open so that background color shows through. Okay. And I want to show you again the color, if you're following along and trying to make, yeah, it looks orange there. It is not orange at all. It's lime green. Oh, well. My cameras apparently hate this color. Well, I know this I could have changed. The background's pretty close, but that camera, my Elgato camera hub it crashed. So yay, Elgato. Let's go ahead and switch to a liner, or not a liner brush. I'm going to use a round, but you could use a liner brush. Either works. I'm going to use some white. And I'm going to pull a little bit more detailing in here. So I'm going to use this right around the holes. And I want this to be a little bit wiggly, a little bit jagged looking. I'm going to switch to a liner that's getting too thick too quickly. Remember, when you use a liner brush, if you've got a chunk of paint like this, that's never going to work for you. You need to thin that out with water. You want a nice, like, it's got to be a pretty thin mixture, and then twist the brush into it so you get this nice, like, smooth And the harder you push, the thicker your line is. I know people a lot of times will just get paint pens. Now, something like this, actually, paint pens would work well on. But if you're doing something realistic, don't depend on paint pens to get details. You can tell they're paint pens. Stylized like this, again, fine, and it can look really cool. But when you're doing like real stuff, if you are struggling with getting fine detail, learn to use your liner brush. And I'm pushing a little bit harder here so that my line is thicker, but you can get super, super thin lines with this. I'm watching you, sir. I see you were about to do it again. I bet sometimes he wishes I worked away from home and wasn't always watching him. He's probably thinking about other people's dogs. You don't know how lucky you are. I'm going to go with a purple and green mixed together again. So I get that nice ugly color. I'm going to use this for the lines and the wings. I forgot that one had a hole there I need to fix or go around with the white. I'm just twisting that brush in the mixture here. I'll show you. This has water on it, and see, I just keep twisting it until I get this nice, smooth, like there's no chunks at all. And now I can do some of these lines in here. Skip where there's a hole. And where did I miss that spot? Right here. Little too much water in that mixture. Gibson, stop it. Hey, put your head up. Gibson. Yeah, I know what you're doing and I want you to stop. Okay, now I'm going to use black. He's really good about doing that so that his head doesn't move and you can't even really see his tongue sticking out and continuously licking his chest. Sneaky, sneaky. Actually, no, I want more highlights on there. I'm going to dry this and pull some highlights. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more with the white. Wipe some of that paint off the brush so it's not on too thick. Now my canvas is smooth enough I can get away with dry brushing and it doesn't really look like dry brushing. But if yours is not, then you may need to put a little bit more water in your mixture so that yours looks smooth. But I put 3 coats of gesso and sanded it down so that it was really smooth. There we go. That is better. I forgot to mention that at the beginning of the video. Normally I use watercolor, the Fredrix watercolor canvas boards, but I'm out of those, so I've been using these 20-ounce Dixie. And they're super heavyweight, but they do require like 3 coats of gesso to get the results that I want. But I really like how heavyweight, like they're thick. Back to this brush. So we need to put our little stitches. I don't know why. That's just what we do for zombies. We've got some black ones on her wing. And then I'm putting white ones over her body. That's what I do for Zombie Snail, so I decided she needs it too. It doesn't make any sense why she's got stitches over her fur, but it's what we've got. And we need to make her a little frowny face, although she's kind of cute without a mouth, but I also like the frowny face. So I've got my lime green mixed with some white, and just her little teeny tiny burp. I don't know why that makes me laugh. I was laughing yesterday too when I was doing it with the other one. That's a little bit on the really bright side. Okay, let's go with, I'm just going to use some purple and green for her little legs. So these ones come out and go in. These ones, I've got her feet going the opposite direction. I don't know why, it was just making me laugh also yesterday. Or no, it was the day before. When did I draw this? Her little feet. Okay. Yeah, it's a coffee cup. It has bees on it. How perfect is that? It goes with tonight's theme. I mean, it's my normal coffee cup, but whatever. Okay. We need to do a bow. And hit her little antlers, actually, or antennas, not antlers. She's not a deer. I'm using that green color again, and I'll come back through with some white too to make sure that stands out. And I'm going to switch over to white. Oops, that's going to be too thick. Thin that out. Too transparent right here. There we go. And now she needs, oh, whoops, that was supposed to go into the bow. Okay, so the bow, I have a completely different color that is nowhere else on this piece, which I don't typically do, but I really wanted it to stand out. So this one is medium magenta. And I'm just gonna fill all that in solid first. It is a bit brighter in person. Yeah, it's funny. I originally had considered doing teals and some other colors, and I decided these colors, because the purples usually film decently well, I did not consider that it was going to hate the yellowy green color so much. That was a surprise to me. I'm going to dry that and put another coat of that pink on there because it's really streaky. Oh, you're right. Oh, I'm glad you guys caught that. I can fix that. Also, I could fix it even if I didn't. My hand did that. Even if I didn't catch that, I have this color paint. I saved it. So, good catch. That would have been an annoying thing to fix. I mean, not that big of a deal because I did pre-mix a bunch of that color just in case that happened, because you were never going to mix the same color again. And if I would have dried that, that would not have been able to lift up like this. Thank you guys. You made my life better. Okay. should be dry enough to do another coat. I don't have to be super clean on this, so I can use a thicker brush to fill that in because the edges are already in there. Yeah, that is much better. That other brush was just not ideal for that. Okay, dry that again. Now I can do the shading. Okay, now I'm going to use my deep violet, which was the same color I used in the background. Can throw a little bit of black into that. Ooh, too much black. Gibson, stop it. Gibson, what are you doing? Your head wasn't even where you usually are when you do that. Okay, and to get polka dots, let's see, I can do either a small brush. Actually, I think I'm going to use my stylus because it's smaller dots. I'm just going to take the stylus that I use for this, or for the tracing and transfer, and I'm going to use that for dots. Reload. You could use a pencil for this, or like an old pen or something like that. Anything really works. And then wipe that off. And I've got a few touch-ups to do with highlights. So I'm going to use white. If you have any art-related questions, leave those now. I'll be answering those in a moment. And we're apparently going to have a lot of time to stare at each other awkwardly. If you don't have lots of questions, because this did not take that long. Just going to go around that with some white. And that is really thin. I need to dry that. God, this looks so much better in person. I wish you guys were seeing what I am seeing. That's kind of annoying. Let's grab, I'm going to mix some white and purple, just to make her little feet stand out a bit more. And this time I will not stick my hand in it. Okay. I think she's done. Actually, I'm going to make the purple stand out a little bit more. What are you doing over there, dragon? I didn't even know you were up. I thought you went to bed. I'm going to pull a little bit more of this magenta tone, because we have time and I think it's cute. Make that fluff stand out a bit more. Stop sticking your hand in it. Oh my gosh, she is cute. Okay, and I need to sign it. I think Dragon just went to bed now. Oops. There we go. Let me show you. In this camera again, it's a little bit more accurate, kind of, which I wish it looked as good on camera as it does in person, but she's definitely more lime green than what you guys are seeing. Actually, I wonder if on this one's any better, or if it's just my monitor. I don't think I can see. Oh, wait. Through YouTube. No, but still too yellow. But yeah, there is the finished zombie. Mine is, again, more lime green and green, less yellow. She's cute yellow too, but she's definitely, I like her better in person because she has that more green tint to her. So yay! If you want to bid, if you want to own this very painting, starting bid is $75 if you're in the US. Link is in the video description. That is super cute. Actually, let me see if I can get a decent photo and upload over here for you. My phone. So all of my phones have done, I usually don't have a problem getting good photos of my paintings, like work in progress and stuff, with my cell phones. This has been the first one I really don't love. Like, my colors in this case are too vibrant. So if I want to use this photo, hold on, I'm going to move that out of the way. It's closer though, as far as being more green, kind of. I have to drop the saturation down. It usually overly smooth stuff. It's very odd. But let me edit this really quick so it's a little bit closer. Saturation will tone that down just a touch. And then tint. No, we don't need to change that. Let's see if temperature will do it. Maybe if I change both that and that. Not really. Kinda. I still think she's more green in person. But at least it's closer. Let me email this to myself really quick. And then you guys can see. Let me load it over here. Sort of. It's yellow. Maybe it's just my monitor. I don't know. It looks kind of more yellow on my phone too in person. I don't think anything is loving this color, but it's better than that. Nothing. Let's do this. Browse. Obviously, it's a terrible photo, but I think it gives you an idea. Whoa, that is big. Oh my gosh, this is way too big. That's closer, but it's still more lime green, and the violet's a bit more violet still, but that gives you a decent idea of what she looks like. Definitely one of those way better in person situations. So there is the finished one. Again, you can bid on her, lacry.com. Starting bid is $75 for your own zombie. And let me pull that out. And okay, so questions. No, we don't have many questions. We have two. Oh my gosh, we're going to be going through Reddit and having some commentary, reaction to Reddit art posts then. Let's see, Jen said, would love a piece with the urchin from your Instagram story today. It's so pretty. I should. That would make for a really, it wouldn't be hard. It's just a lot of detail. That's a good idea. Oh, I like it. If it should still, I don't know if it's still on my Instagram story if you've not seen it. If you go over to Twitter, at Lacry, I think is my handle there, you can still see it over there. If you want to see the urchin from my reef tank. That one is what is that one? A pincushion urchin. think that, yeah, that's my pincushion urchin. And I've had that one for 2 years now. I don't know. Maybe that one's 3. Teresa said, have you tried the new Grisaille glitter pens? I've not. Glitter would look pretty in the wings. It would actually, glitter would be cute. An iridescent like silver would look super cute on this, or gold, but that would be too yellow for this one. But that would be really cute on a bee painting. So we may need to do that on like a realistic bee in the future. I like that idea a lot. Starving Artist said, update on latest book and screen favorites. Okay, so I'm still hooked on the Zodiac Academy. And part of me, I've kind of gone back and forth on if I want to talk about that, recommending it to people, because the adult scenes are graphic. I skip over them, but when you're skipping, you'll hear certain words, and I'm like, oh God, seriously. Like, I've been married for 24 years, and I still am like, so I'm not a kid. But my God, I don't want to listen about other people's activities. I don't know, it's just weird. I'm not into that. But the books are super long. Like, they're 35 hours, and I swear, like, at least a third of them, adult activities. What you would think is that the story then, it's just for, no, the story is so good. I can't put it, actually, I'm in book 9, and I'm just at a point right now where I'm like, okay, nothing major is happening. I mean, there is, but it's not like, I don't know who's gonna, like, survive, and nobody's captured right now. And so I'm like, okay, I can take a little bit of a break. I have my friend Lena, I got her hooked on them too. She is just blowing through these like crazy. She can't put them down. Same thing, like there's something about that. The Zodiac Academy, I forget who the author is. I don't think there's many books called that, but man, and the narration is amazing. But yeah, it's the thing that I find annoying is I'll be cleaning or something, and it's like the end of every chapter is an adult scene, and there's like some like with threesomes and groups and things that you're just like, whoa, okay, not into that. I mean, it fits with the story. At least they make it make sense, I guess. But I have to like go find my phone because I've got my headphones in so I can skip it. And that part definitely gets annoying. So that is going to be my only real complaint about the books. Story-wise, so good. I love it. I love it. I like character development and stuff. It's been so good. But yeah, that's some adults, like a lot. I mean, a lot of the books I listen to have that stuff, and so I'm used to skipping. But this one, I think, kind of took it a little farther. But the story is also like, I need to know what's going to happen. Like, I have not felt that way about books in a very long time. I'm on book 9, and I'm just now getting to the point where I wouldn't say I'm bored. It's just that there was finally a part where it wasn't like anything major happening, so I could kind of take a break. Because I have been doing nothing but listening to those for like 2 weeks. It's been crazy. So those I'm still listening to. Really, really good. And it's definitely not just me. My friend Aline, she's been reading them. My friend Lena, like I said, she's super hooked on them. So we are definitely, yeah, it's not just a me thing. Like I don't know what kind of magic this author put into it, but she gets you hooked. So yeah, those have been fun. Let's see, we'll go through I'll go and look up some questions on Reddit, and we can just talk about some art things that people challenges and give my opinions on that, because I don't know why that matters to anybody, but we'll do that. But I do want to talk a little bit about customer service, and I love when something like this happens because it makes me always reflect, what can I do more in my business to make other people feel how this company made me feel? So I do these I've shown you my nail, they're basically stickers, nail polish stickers, and they last like, so normally nail polish, because it's just my natural nails, normally 2 days, maybe 3 days is how long most nails, and that's if I use specific nail polish. If I use like I was gonna say over the counter, I guess, like whatever crap I found at like anywhere, Orally or any of those, they last a day before they start chipping on me really bad. So, and that's with like doing all the nail prep, the base coat, I know how to do all the stuff. But if I use indie polish, like blush lacquers are one of my favorites, those will last about 3 days for me. So if I can push it to 4 days, that's kind of a miracle. So, oh my God, my mom is watching this and she wants the bee. I'm not painting you the bee. I'm sorry. You're getting the ghost. I painted my mom another ghost. I've got to get that one, in last week's ghost shipped out tonight. But no. She's apparently watching right now and messaging me that she wants the ghost. She does this every time. So anyway, the nail company that I use, I found them. Where's the lid to my palette? I found them on Amazon, or not on Amazon. It was an ad on either Instagram or Facebook. Now, I'm hesitant of ads on those because so many companies advertising on Facebook are just scam companies. They're not, you don't ever get the item. It's almost always out of China. If you do get the item, it's going to be 3 months later. I did it once. I fell for it. Yeah, never. And I did eventually get it when I made a complaint through PayPal, but it was weird because it was during COVID. And so they were like, no, we're going to take longer for shipping, or we're going to allow longer. But the reality was they were using a fake shipping company website, which was a known scam site. They did send me something. It wasn't what I ordered. So that was a whole other thing. But they were able to tell PayPal, look, here's the tracking number. We did send it. It was a whole thing. So I don't trust ads on Facebook. I certainly didn't expect it to really be located, because that company had said they were located in the US. I don't buy things that are shipped like Temu. I don't do any of that. And that's a whole other issue, moral issue. Like, I have issues with Temu. But I don't buy stuff that I know are coming straight from China, because you can't really return it, or from another country. Because if there's any chance I may need to return it or I don't like it, good freaking luck. You're going to pay more in shipping than you did on the item. But I figured these nail wraps were $3. I'll give them a chance. They are in the US. All their employees are here. When you talk to them, you were not being sent overseas to talk to somebody who didn't understand the language. So you didn't have that language barrier, which is nice. But they come, I'll show you mine. Oh, the addiction is real. Maybe I shouldn't show people this. These are my nails. Look at all of these. This is ridiculous. So they come in these stickers. And I'm going somewhere with the business, what I'm talking about, that's so cool with, oh, here's one of the new ones. So you get these, there you go. I'll show you on this one. Which one? Whoops, my camera's all over the place. So there are these little stickers, and then you just stick them right on, and you put your top coat on. You gotta do a base coat, a top coat, all that. Super easy. They look amazing. Like, I love these things. But I put on a set last week. The set I was wearing during last week's live stream, I put on it was a matte top finish, so I put a matte top coat on, and they, within a day, I mean, they were falling apart. They did not last at all. So I contacted the company, and I was just like, is there a matte top coat? Because I figured maybe my matte top coat just didn't play nicely with these wraps. So I asked them, you know, what do you recommend? And they went and looked up. I didn't give them my order number because I wasn't asking for a refund. I just figured it was the top coat I used. So, you know, that's on me. They went and found the order, refunded me, sent me a coupon or a code for a free set to make up for it. Then they sent me an email asking details and making sure, because I had already let them know like how I applied them, so they knew I knew what I was doing. And they were like, yeah, it doesn't sound like anything you did wrong, but you know, we've sent you a free set to hopefully make up for it. We refunded you for that one. But they asked me all these questions, and they gave me a recommended top coat that they liked. And I could not get over how nice they were, how friendly, how great the customer service was in their group. If anyone asks them any questions, I mean, they are right on top of getting back to people, which is definitely something I need to work on in my own business, because I am so bad about responding to emails. It certainly got me thinking about like, oh, I want people to feel how I felt when dealing with them when they deal with me. But anyway, what an amazing company. If you like to play with nail stuff, it's called Lily and Fox, just lilyandfox.com. I don't have an affiliate. Look at these ones. Wait, I'll show you some of these that are so cute, because we've got plenty of time before we get on to art stuff. This one, little bunnies with gold hearts. That one's super cute. Let's see I'll show you some of the animal ones. Let's see, we've got this one, monkeys with stripes. The color is so wrong. This is actually a cooler red. Like bees, of course, cats, dolphins, little spiders, more bees and honeycomb, toucans, cows. This was one of my favorite sets. Goldfish, bats, cats. They've got tons with flowers. I've got so many holiday ones for Christmas that I'll be wearing. So it makes your fingers look like they're wrapped in wrapping paper. Anyway, super cool, super cute, and what a great example of good customer service. And it really goes to show how much having good customer service can make somebody more likely to keep purchasing from you, because there are other companies, I won't even try them. I'm like, nope, I like this one. This one I know stands behind their product. Like, I'm kind of, this set of nails feels like they might come off soon. And I already know they'll take care of it. They're like 100% guarantee, and they were so, so nice. Like, I couldn't get over how friendly and how quickly they responded. I was just super impressed with that. So anyway, moral of that story is it just really got me thinking, how can we do that with our own customers, making people feel special, making people feel heard? And like, I want that. I mean, it's different for me because I don't sell that much stuff. I mean, they're original paintings, but it was a good lesson in that. And the flip side, you have companies like HP. I used to love HP when they were located, I think their customer service used to be down in like Austin or Houston. They sent it over to India, and they have the worst customer service in the world. And this has been forever, like back in, God, when was this, like 2009? My laptop, it was an older one. That one came, it was nonstop drama, I should have taken it back to where it was purchased instead of fighting with HP. But I was on the phone, I think it ended up being a total of over 3 hours with their customer service, and they ended up having to replace it. But they replaced it with the refurb. The refurb came in reeking of weed. I don't, whatever. It smelled so bad. And as somebody who does not partake in these things, it was just like, oh God. Yeah, it was bad. This has been in somebody's home. No, I didn't buy a used item. I didn't pay for a used item. You send me a new one. So we had a back and forth. They sent out somebody to try to repair it. That didn't go well. And that guy even said it needs to be replaced. So they replaced it with a refurb. It was such a nightmare. And they didn't used to be that way. In the past with HP, because a friend of mine used to work there, if you had problems like that, they would have been giving you like free laptop cases and stuff to make up for all the drama and all the problem. And because of all of that, I will never buy another HP product ever. Maybe a monitor if it was on sale, but not even that. I use BenQ is what I usually have. But it was so, like, what a difference. Good customer service. Like, where now I'm like, I am a loyal fan of Lily and Fox. They're the only name, well, they're also the cheapest, so there's that. But they're the only one that I will probably order from because I was so impressed with their customer service. Versus HP, who I will never, that was what, 2009, and I'm still like, I will never buy from your company again. You bring your stuff back to the US and you fix your customer service issue, then maybe. But even if your product is good, I know now if I have to deal with you, it's gonna be a nightmare. And I don't, like, it's not worth the trouble. So yeah, it was just kind of an interesting story, and it's something that we can take into our own art and our own business and trying to create that good, the Lily and Fox experience for buyers versus HP. Let's see. Somebody asked, I think, if I have it with my art, the nail things with my art on it. I don't know if they do that. So I'm not sure how they get their designs. I've actually was thinking about contacting them about that and seeing if they wanted to. But it looks like some other companies also have the same designs, but they charge more for them. So I don't know if it's just something that they are buying. I'm sure it comes from China, but I'm not sure if they're buying from there, getting them shipped over, or if that is even an option. So it's definitely something that I may message them and ask them if that's even remotely. What am I hearing? So, oh God, I heard water running, but it sounded weird. It's Matt's cleaning the bird dishes and okay, I know what it is now. Nothing's leaking. With as many reef tanks as I have, when you hear running water, sometimes you panic a little that something's leaking. Okay. Oh, that tea is so good. Okay, let's see. I am just gonna go, because we have a ridiculously long time since our painting got done quickly. Let's head over to Reddit. I always like reading what people are running into, and then like, let's see. Oh, that is an archived post. That's okay, I'm not posting. I don't actually ever post anything on Reddit. You know, actually, really quick, I want to talk about some of the artist scams. There are so many. If you are not already a member over on Facebook, what is it called? Facebook, hold on. Art, there it was. Art scams. Go if you use Facebook, which I hate, but whatever. Art scams / scammers. Join that group. Actually, let me put it in the chat. If you will get a lot of examples, and you can post if you're not sure. I mean, you can post in our art group too. But if you're not sure if something is a scam, if somebody tries to contact you to buy your painting, this is a really good group because they are going to give you more examples, but people that some of the constant things that they will do is take a screenshot. You'll get a private message on Instagram or Facebook or wherever. They'll take a screenshot of one of your painting, whatever you've recently posted on Instagram. It could be a portrait of somebody else, and they will screenshot that, and it is this artwork still available? I would love to purchase them. The grammar is always your first sign. Now, a lot of times we think, oh, their scammers are so stupid, they don't know how to speak clearly, blah, blah, whatever. A lot of times they do it on purpose. So turns out they will intentionally use that. They could use autocorrect or chat GPT or something to get better, like get the grammar in there accurately. They are looking for somebody who would read that, see that it's written wrong, and be like, oh yeah, sounds legit to me. If you fall for that, you're going to fall for the rest of their scam. They are looking for that. So be aware of that. And I think we've gotten to a point where we're so worried about offending somebody by being like, oh, yeah, it wasn't good grammar, but it's probably their second language and we want to be friendly to everybody. I'm with you on that. But there are also red flags. Don't let your kindness let you get screwed over. Like, you still need to be aware that there are certain signs that things are off. Let's see if I can find a few others. Your typical still available for sale. They will take, but they always take a screenshot of something. I would love to purchase this artworks from you, that sort of thing. There was somebody did it on Twitter to me. I should have screenshotted it because I used it as an example to point out where that this was obviously a scammer, so they deleted the post. But let's see. Art galleries, this is a good one. Art galleries will write you emails, or usually this one comes through email. I hope this message finds you well. I recently discovered your expressive paintings and I was genuinely impressed by their quality and creativity. I'm reaching out on behalf of Gallery Soho. We are an international artist association, and it goes on and on and on. They want you to give their money so that they'll sell your work. They're not going to. It's just a scam. It's always a scam. Here's the thing, and I see this a lot in the beginners art group. Artists who are still at the beginner stage where it looks like they painted it with their feet. And we all go through that stage. That's not bashing them. But when you're at that stage, people are not banging down your door trying to buy your art. No one wants it yet. I say yet because you can get there. Starting out and being terrible is totally normal. It's nothing to like feel bad about, but let's be realistic about who wants to buy that. It reminds me of the romance scammers where it's like this 81-year-old woman who is missing half her teeth and she thinks the young supermodel is in love with her, so he needs her money. You know, let's just be realistic. An 81-year-old woman without teeth probably doesn't have a 21-year-old throwing himself at her and then needing money. But it's with their paintings, be realistic about that. If you are brand new to painting and somebody is commenting and using the grammar's bad, they just screenshot the work and want to buy everything, that's always a scam. Now, a few other things that will commonly happen in scams, they just want to purchase it and they don't even ask how much it is. Usually they won't even bother. How do I pay? Or they'll ask, what's shipping to Florida or whatever. They're not in Florida, it doesn't matter. What they're trying to do, and there's a few different variants of this scam, but what they're typically trying to do is they'll say, I'm going to PayPal you, what's your PayPal address? And it's usually your email. So no real problem there. But they have your email, so they know what your PayPal account is. So what they will do is send you an email saying, oh, look, I paid, but the payment didn't go through. PayPal's going to send you a code, and I need you to tell me that code so that they can verify the payment. What that code is, they took your email because they know that's how to log in, and they're resetting your password so they can get into your account. That's all they care about. They're not trying to buy anything from you. If you were in those beginning stages, just don't fall for it. If you've hit a point where you think somebody actually does want to purchase your work, you can do what I do. It's all on my website. If somebody wants to buy from me, they can go to my website. There's no reason to contact me directly. None. The other is you can put it on Etsy. You can put it on eBay. You can put it somewhere else just to make sure you're being kept safe and they can purchase from there. Like if you really think somebody, you're like, oh, but they really might be a real buyer and you're not sure, make a listing on eBay. You can do, if you do a buy it now option, I think it is, you can do, I don't know if they still do, check what their listing fees are, but I think before, if you did a buy it now, you were able to list so many of them per month for free. So you don't even have to pay, just throw it up on eBay, give them the link to eBay and they can buy it. What they're gonna do, I don't have eBay. I can't buy it that way. too bad. Bye. Everyone has eBay. If you can't buy on eBay, you don't need to. You know, you've got options if you're really not sure. Do not do direct sales on Instagram and Facebook. That's not how you're going to get the sales. I mean, every once in a while you might get a sale that way once you get more established, but in the beginning, again, you just please be realistic about where your work is, and that's not bashing you that you won't be amazing. If you're not there yet, just use that as your first red flag, because that's what I'm seeing happen a lot in the beginning art group, where I'm looking at these going, no, like, it's not even personal taste, because, you know, everybody has a different taste in art and somebody is going to like everything. But when you're, you know, your first 5, 6, 7 paintings, probably you don't have people beating down your door to buy them. So just, you know, use it as a red flag. Maybe throw it on eBay if you're not sure, and send them the link. And if they don't want to buy that way, then done. Let's see. Baby Panda said, I think she's talking about the nails there. Super cute, but took me forever to put on. I've had them on almost 2 weeks and already they still look great. How are you getting yours? I think if I take hot baths, mine only, I can push them to about a week before they start getting soft. And it's like if they hit anything, they'll just kind of push. But I think it's the hot baths, because heat and water are the two like things. And that's like both of them for me. So I get about a week, which is fine by me, because did you see my stack? Like seriously. My stack of this is how many, there are just so many in there. I'm addicted, but because they're $3 and you're like, oh, I can afford $3. But anyway, so by a week, I already want to change them. 2 days later, I want to change them because they're fun, but yeah. Let's see. Tammy said, I've had them start to argue with me. I'm much more into spotting them now and blocking them much sooner. Ugh, I wish they would just go away. Yeah, these scammers are just terrible. 1SGWW said if they put that much effort into actually working, they'd be rich. I know, and I mean, I say yes, and I understand that most of these, when you're talking about most of these scams, India, Nigeria are your two like really big, depending on the scam type. Like romance scams usually are coming out of Nigeria, and then India will be any scam. Those are two areas that, I mean, India is huge, so I don't know which specific area, but yeah, some of those areas don't have a lot of work available, and it's weird. It's like bizarre watching them talk. I was watching a thing on the ones in Nigeria. They will go talk. They have like I don't know what she's, a medicine woman, witchcraft crap. I don't know. I'm not into that, so whatever. I'm not going to be respectful. You do you. So they go to this woman, and they were complaining, like the people they were scamming, they call their clients. And they were like, my client isn't paying. I need you to put whatever voodoo crap that they were doing on her. And they were it was the craziest crap that they're doing to scam too. But there weren't a lot of opportunities to make much money in their area. And they see this and they're like, oh, I mean, I feel like it's certain cities or certain towns where kids get involved in dealing drugs. And, you know, they're like, I can make way more money doing this. And that's what the scammers are doing. Like, I can make way more money doing this. But it's crazy. They don't feel bad at all. The romance scam ones, I mean, none of the scammers do. A lot of them, I know when you listen to the ones from India, they freaking hate Americans. Like that's really, oh, why did this, oh, I hope I didn't just lose you guys. I might have. No, I think I'm still here. Am I still here? I think I'm still here. Whoop, and we're back. But yeah, anyway, the ones, listening to the ones, like I was watching shows on this, the ones in India were like talking about the Americans that they were scamming. They hated us. Like they felt that we deserve it. And like they had no sympathy for the fact that they were taking the life savings of retired people, or like they can't pay their bill. Like they're going to lose their house. I mean, part of me is like, don't be stupid. Like how did you fall into this? But it's bizarre. Some of the stuff, like listening to them talk about the people they're scamming, crazy. It's weird, like no empathy at all. Let's see. Okay, let's go. Let's see what we've got over on Reddit. Actually, were there any other interesting scams in here? Here's one I get a lot, like all the time through my Facebook, Instagram, whatever. They'll message you, like your business account, if you've got a business page on Facebook. They'll message you and write, let's see, like the, Dear administrator, your account will be deactivated. This is because your page or the activity on it does not comply with our terms of service. And it goes on and on and on. Fake accounts every time. Facebook doesn't contact you that way. Like, that's not how that, actually, when Facebook decides they're going to ban your account, they just do it. They don't warn you. Zero warning, just bam, gone. Ask me how I know, and I didn't even do anything wrong. They just, whatever. So I got it back, but whatever. So you'll get those messages. Never, 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 never click on a link somebody sends you. Don't click, like, even if a friend or family member in Facebook sends you a link, don't click it. They may be sending you something they didn't realize was a scam link, and now your account got hacked too. Don't click stuff. But yeah, don't ever click anything. You get a message like that, any link, whether they're claiming they want to buy it, and that's one of the ones they'll do too. Is this work available? And they'll put a link on it. And you're like, oh, which work was it? Which painting was it? You're going to be tempted. I've been tempted and I know better. I mean, I've never clicked it, but I mean, that temptation of, oh, which one are you talking about is there. Never click a link. Someone emails you with a link, I don't click it. Ever. Someone actually on Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube, I was watching, I think it was like a farmsteading channel. I forget, I don't know, because it wasn't something I normally watch, but I watched this one because it was about losing their YouTube account. We occasionally do, I don't do it often, but occasionally you'll do like a sponsored video. And so the company will email you and ask like your terms, how much do you charge to promote their product, or like, depends on what kind of video they want, whatever. And they'll send you a contract, you sign, all that stuff. Well, the contract they sent her, when she clicked on it, hacked her account. She lost her entire YouTube account. They took it and like uploaded a bunch of crap, deleted all her stuff. She had to start a new one, and she had like 50,000 or more subscribers, I forget. But I mean, it was a decent sized channel, and she lost it. Because she clicked a link that was emailed, and she said everything sounded super, super legit. I mean, I don't know, I didn't read it, but from what she's saying, she's like, I've done these before. It sounded just like every other contract. Click nothing ever. Yeah, let's see, do we have more scams on here? Yeah, here's another common scam. So this one contacted her, and she looks like a supermodel. It's just stolen photos off the internet. Hey, do you mind me painting your picture for a project I'm working on for a client's company? For some reason, client and company were capitalized, and you will be getting paid for it. It would make such an amazing, I would make such an amazing mural out of it. She asked what kind of company. The scammer responded back, I want us to talk about that better for you to understand my job, and you will be paid also. I try sending you, so again, we're back now to grammar issues, or she went through the public school system, could go either way on that. I try sending you requests and drop you a message, but it seems not go through. Can you try and add me from your side if you don't mind? Please pardon my manners if you think this is embarrassing. Thank you. Like, what? So what that scam is, when they want to use their photo, they'll do where they say you're going to get a lot of money. And so the way this will play out is, okay, my client is going to pay you for that photo that I'm going to use, or your artwork that I'm going to copy, or whatever it is. They're going to pay you, and then you're going to give me a portion of that money. You can keep most of it. Maybe it's $10,000. You can keep $7,000. I just need you to give me $3,000 for the artwork. But my client is going to pay you directly. First off, why? None of that makes any sense. As an artist, when did you pay that kind of money? Like for anything? You spend $5 on wildlifereferencephotos.com if you need a really good one, or we go to Unsplash. Like, that makes no sense. But what they're going to do is you send them, you're like, okay, fine. They send you a fake check. You think you have money, it hasn't been declined yet, or they send you a bank statement, it looks like it went through and you don't realize it did. There's a few different ways to go about this, but you'll send them the $3,000, whatever it is, and you think, oh, I just made $7,000. I'm just pulling a number out of the air, like it could be anything. I'm keeping $7,000. No, you're not. You just lost $3,000. Like, that money they sent you wasn't real. You didn't get any money. So that's another really common one too. Like, they're going to send you money and then you're going to send me a portion of that. Yeah, nope, not real. Don't do it. Definitely a scam. Trying to see some of these other ones. Can I purchase your product? Oh my God, that's one of my favorites. They call your painting a product. Forget it. They're a scammer. That alone is all you need to know it's a scam. So she said, yes, of course. And for that one was 100 pounds. The scammer responded, all right, sounds good. Thumbs up. Where are you located? She said, Oxfordshire. She said, okay, good. Thumbs up. Do you offer shipping to Florida? She says, I do. I need your address. She gives her the thing, and then it would be 220. I will send you the full address right away. So she makes up, I looked up the address because I like finding the scammers in this group. I looked up the address, and the address was for an apartment complex, but she didn't give an apartment number. And she says, I will be offering the cash via PayPal transfer because the secured payment method for the both side. Again, pay attention to the grammar. They do that on purpose because if you read that and you're like, yeah, sounds legit, they know they can completely scam you. Let's see, for the secure payment method for the both sides, since I'm not able to pay you with cash, do you have an account with them? And you will have to mark it has sold as well to keep other offers away. Like they try to get you excited. Oh my God, I'm getting this. And I think they go after artists so much because they know it is hard to sell artwork. Like it doesn't matter how good you are. It can be very hard to sell artwork. And they know that. And it makes us kind of easy targets. So let me know immediately, send the request. Okay, so yeah, but can I purchase your product? If they call it a product, scam, 100%. Let's see, let me come up here. What about the being poor excuse? And not for which part? I don't know which part that one came to. I've had people too, and this isn't so much scammers, it's just people trying to get something for nothing. I have had people contact me saying, but I can't afford your art, wanting a deal, wanting a discount. I've had people want me to do, I had this one woman contact me. She wanted me to do this huge 24 by 30, she wanted poster size for her little girl's bedroom of Jesus walking on the water. Can you imagine, my style, realism. So you want a full-size portrait and all of that water. Like you're talking about such an insane amount of work. She wanted to pay about 50 bucks. Sweetie, go buy a poster for your kid. Like your kid doesn't need an original paint. What you're asking for is such an involved, like a major, that would, to do a painting like that, which is sure, cool painting, probably going to take me 2 months. Like, I mean, to do big, maybe not 2 months for me because I paint fast, but you're talking about a big thing and it is very common to do that. And oh, well, I can't afford that. Uh-huh. So you can buy print. Like I have prints available if you can't afford an original. I get it. Art is a luxury item. And I mean, even with me, I'll have a painting for over $1,000. Like, oh my God, $1,000? How long did that take you? That took me weeks. Like 2 weeks worth of work is worth more than what I'm charging. But, I also make money from lessons, so that can help me keep that price lower. But yeah, you get that crap a lot where people are wanting, They don't, and the best part, like the lady with the Jesus walking on the water, she thought she was doing me a favor by ordering artwork from me because I should be flattered she wants my work and that she's willing to pay me $50 or $25. I forget what it was. It was just like you don't understand how much that would cost. And even art shows, you will get this all the time. If you do art shows, where people they'll act like your prices are so ridiculous. Now, to be fair, I've seen where some people, especially beginners, are being ridiculous on their prices. They may have spent 3 weeks on a painting that a professional or a skilled, somebody with more experience would maybe have spent 15 minutes on. So, but that doesn't mean that you can charge for 3 weeks worth of work. I mean, let's be realistic when you're a beginner. So I have seen that where they're just very delusional about the price that they're trying to charge for the skill level they're currently at. Doesn't mean they're not going to be amazing, but if they keep being delusional, they're probably not going to get better in general. That's just, common. Is that it for my mom? Let me make sure. Yeah. So, yeah, that I have seen that where people are like wanting, and I was there. There was a time where I was like, I remember going to the beach, when I decided I was going to be an artist for a living. I mean, I was always painting and drawing, but when I decided this is the profession I want to be, down at Laguna Beach in California, and this lady had like one of those outdoor things that she was underselling her artwork on, like down on the beach, like she was on the sand. And she was selling paintings, at least the price tag. I don't know how much she was selling, but I was 18 at the time, 19. So, I was a genius at that age, teenage girls. she was selling paintings for thousands of dollars and they weren't very good, like dolphins and stuff. Like her perspective was off, and that's what I did. So I'm thinking, if she's selling for that much and she's not good, I'm better. Therefore, I can sell for that much easily or more. So when I first started selling my work, I go, I'm making all these paintings. I get into a gallery that would take work from a beginner, Angel's Gallery in Pomona, that used to, like years ago, back in the late 90s, start selling my work in there. And I'm like, I want $500 minimum for this painting. And the reality is it was worth maybe $150, maybe. And that was back in the late 90s. So, you know, things would be different there. But yeah, I really thought I was going to be charging an arm and a leg right in the beginning when I didn't have a name for myself and my skills just weren't there yet. So, you know, you got to be a little bit realistic about that too. Yes, the artwork, you can still bid. I don't think anyone's bid. I may get to keep him. And if my mom is watching, that doesn't mean I'm sending him to you. It means I'm keeping him. Wait, where did I had that pulled up earlier, and then apparently I lost it. There we go. Oh, yeah, there it is. Refresh. Yep, he is still available, $75. Wait, description. Yeah, he's way cuter. Oh wait, I have the slightly better one here. Zombie. Well, it's overexposed. That's not a great photo. He looks so much, or she looks so much better in person. Anyway, I'm not gonna be mad if I have to keep her though, because I really, really like that one. Let's see. I was going to look. Oh yeah. Artist problems on Reddit. I already looked at this page. Let's try another one. What are some struggles that non-artists don't understand? Let's see, that looks like an interesting thread. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I read this one before. Personally, for me, the biggest surprise was that when I started posting my work on social media, my friends and family would go out of their way not to interact with those posts. Everything else, a selfie, snapshots of my cats, they were all there liking and commenting. That is really interesting, because I think that is normal with social media. Like, my mom will always interact with it, but like friends and stuff, hit or miss. And part of it, it's gotten worse over the years, because the way that the algorithm works, it rewards drama. Or like, if you posted that you're getting married, that you just had a baby, those posts usually will get bumped up. Facebook's like, everyone's gonna like it. It's something positive that people will like. But like your normal art stuff, Facebook's like, you might be trying to sell something. We're not gonna hardly show it to anybody. And I think people end up taking that really personal, that people aren't interacting. But even before that was an issue, like, so we go back to Facebook 2012. It was the same back then when people were seeing your work. My friends and family, my mom, to be fair, my parents weren't on social media at all the time, but like my friends hardly interact with it. This is the thing. You can't be insulted by it. They know you paint. They're just like, yeah, whatever. The strangers are the ones you're trying to impress, because those are going to be your potential customers anyway. But yeah, it's kind of a weird thing. Like all of us, I think, experience that. You'll have your handful of friends and family, like your closest, like my friend Chris will always, my friend Jessica, they will always, they see a post, they will always interact with it. It doesn't matter if it's a painting, doesn't matter if it's my dog, my sea urchin, anything. Like, they will interact with all of it. But that's a very small handful. Like the majority of my friends, they didn't even, nothing. But yeah, and if I posted a selfie, me holding like, here, I got my new squishable thing. Actually, I did that with, my friend sent me, what was it? It was, what did she send me? It was super cute. I remember posing with it. I don't know, it was a stuffed animal of something that I love, and I don't even remember which one it was now. I think it was sea turtle. I got so much reactions on the selfie of me holding my cute stuffed animal, and I'm like, but my artwork that I put weeks and weeks and weeks into, nothing. It's so yeah, that is common. If you are having that happen, do not take it personally. It's just normal. One, Facebook at this point, Facebook's just, and Instagram, all of those, Twitter, they're not showing your work to anybody. Now, Twitter is kind of interesting, because if you pay their premium thing, you're supposed to be, your stuff is seen more. Like, you don't see as many ads, and then your stuff is supposed to be seen more. I don't know. I've not tried it. I'm tempted to try it to see how that goes. I don't normally use Twitter that much. I've just been posting it more for personal stuff. Like, I post video or photos of French fry, my sea urchin. Like, I've been using it more for personal stuff than art. I mean, it's some art stuff, but I've been kind of messing around with that. So I can't say for certain how much more you get seen over there. Twitter's just a weird land of weirdness. But so I'm not positive. But yeah, if you find that to be the case where your own friends and family, like they're just not really responding to your artwork, do not take it personal. One, Facebook just isn't showing it to that many people anymore. But two, yeah, normal. It is the weirdest phenomenon that, like, even before it was an algorithm issue, which is how it goes. I thought that was interesting that they posted that, because I'm like, yep, that's pretty normal. Let's see, this person, this is just talking about artist problems that only artists can relate to. This one said, the fact that you can't develop skills in one day and that it can take years to develop just the basics. Once they see you made something good, they assume you can draw or paint anything now. Yeah, that's kind of funny. And even though, yeah, if you get to where you can copy something well, you technically could, but that doesn't mean you, like, I want to. Like, I had a friend, her boyfriend raced these weird, they weren't go-karts. I don't know. It was the most redneck thing I'd ever seen. Like these weird, they weren't go-karts. They were like fast going, welded together, ugly. I don't even know, like shaped all, the butt was in the air. I don't even know what these things were. But they, yeah, she kept wanting me to paint those. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I could, but I'm not going to. I'm not interested at all. A lot of that is just, you can do things as long as you've got a decent reference photo. One of the things that I always find interesting is how many people think they can provide you with a terrible reference photo, like let's say they want a pet portrait, and they're like, oh no, but I've seen your work. I know you're good enough to do this. No, you've seen my work when I had a really good reference photo. You have not seen my work when I painted from a photo where there's a blob sitting on the couch across the room, and you want the detail from something with a really good photo that I had worked from. I think that's funny that a lot of people, like non-artists, do not understand how important that good reference photo is to get the same quality of work they're used to seeing from us when you work in realism. Let's see. Yeah, Kara, that's an interesting one. I've briefly heard about it. It's supposed to be more of an artist-centric social media platform. It won't take off. It's like Instagram by and for artists won't work. Okay, someone like me who I'm teaching other artists, it might be beneficial to me because my target are other artists. But for selling art, you're not usually selling to other artists. I mean, occasionally, but mostly you want we'll call them normies, the non-artists, to buy our stuff. That's going to be the majority of our buyers. So it's kind of like, yeah, I don't think Kara will take off. Yeah, I know that Twitter is not called Twitter anymore, but I don't know if I'm ever going to get my brain around that. You can't just go change the names on me. I still call pick and save, instead of big lots. Let's see. What else do they have in here? Comments. Let's see. No, this is all responding to that other one. I'm hearing, you know what I'm probably hearing, the weird sound? I bet there's a crab climbing around with his shell hitting the glass on that reef over there. Let's see. Yeah, this is true. This person said, it seems like a lot of non-artists believe that you have to turn your art hobby into an income source or else it's worthless. That is really true. And I have to wonder sometimes if I come across that way, because I'm basically teaching other people who want to sell their work, but you don't have to make good work. That's actually interesting because everyone assumes you've got to sell, and yeah, you definitely do not. I need to move this into a new window. So that's kind of interesting. Let me move this over. There we go. How much time do we have? 10 minutes. What? Don't do that. Let's see. I'm looking for other interesting. I think this one's getting a little bit like too much. Let's see what else we got. All-time past year. I'm reading this one. This person's asking like your biggest struggle as an artist. This person says, social media is a giant hassle. I know it's common advice here to say not to focus on it and to sell locally. And it's true. Good luck with that. That's an interesting, I didn't know that was a thing on Reddit. Are people really trying to tell people that? I mean, yeah, it's an option if you can sell locally, but selling locally is not as easy as you think it is. If you can get into some sort of a gallery, great, but a lot of them don't. Like my city, we don't really have much. I'm in Aubrey, Texas. There's not really art galleries around. Most of the time when you get into good art galleries, they are looking for somebody that's much more established. Like when I was in California, it was I remember there being a Thomas Kincaid gallery. Only Thomas Kincaid, so this was the 90s, only Thomas Kincaid could be sold there and a handful of others. But it was like they only wanted really established. You didn't see very often where you had more like beginner artist stuff. You'd have coffee shops, which I don't like. I personally never had good experiences with coffee shops. Plus you're also having a high risk of things being stolen or coffee spilled or whatever. There's so much vandalism stuff. I never had that issue, but it is a problem. Stealing is a real problem. Art galleries, if you can find one that will work with newer artists, that's great, but not everyone is going to have that available. And I think the internet is one of those things that definitely let artists across the world sell work in a way we weren't able to before. So it's weird to me that people on Reddit were like, that's their main tip, is to sell local. I mean, great if you can, but that is not so easy. And when you do art shows, I don't think people realize when you do these art shows, there's so much work, and unless you're doing them on a very, very regular basis, it's not worth going through the setup. Like to do a good setup with something to hang all your artwork on, to store the artwork for shipping, to decorate your booth, to have the lights proper for your booth if you're indoors. Like all the stuff it takes to really make the signage, everything, to make your booth look good is not worth it unless you're doing those shows on a very regular basis. Like I was doing Aquashello once a year, not worth it. I won't make back what I sell. Like, so I would sell prints at these shows. I didn't bring much in the way of originals. I would sell prints. I'm never going to make back what I spent on prints if I'm only doing one show a year. It doesn't pan out. So if you're doing them a lot, like I know one artist, Nori, she does them. She's constantly at different aquatic type shows with her work. She, as far as I know, does fairly well. I mean, I don't know what her actual finances are, but well enough she travels around and sells at all of these shows all over the country, but she's doing it like every weekend. It is so much physical work. I am not healthy enough for that crap. So like that is just so draining. But you don't make much money doing that. I mean, when you factor in like Aquashello, $800 for the booth I had last time, if I do a trade for the artwork, but that would have been $800. I didn't even come close to making that much. So you're like, I mean, not even close. So selling locally is not always going to be like the great answer. It may be one factor. And I think that's one of the things with art too. We have to look at multiple, like put your eggs in lots of baskets, because if you are trying to only make money selling at shows, if you're trying to only make money selling prints online, only make money selling originals, you're probably going to have a very hard time making your art your business. Like you have to have so many sources of income. So like with me, I've got my Amazon affiliate links. Like I share with you guys like my tea. I'm going to share what I'm drinking it anyway. I may as well tell you the things I like and give you a link for what I liked. But I make some money every month. It's not a lot, but it adds up. Some money from that, some money from prints, some money. I'm trying to think of all the sources of income I have coming in. YouTube ad revenue, like super chats will come and be included in the ad revenue. I have Patreon, of course. What else is there? I'm trying to think what other payouts. I'm trying to think of the other little things. Like there's little things. Like if somebody signed up for a Squawk Box, I get a small percent, and that's minimal, but still, it's like, hey, if I like something, I'm going to share it anyway. But if you have these multiple sources of income, that is going to make for a better business than trying to depend on any one thing, like just selling artwork on eBay, or you're probably not going to do real well with that. But yes, so the idea of sell locally and don't worry about social media. Now, I don't know what the answer is with the current social media. It is hard to rank on social media now, but it's also, you can do it for free. So it's still worth posting. But yeah, I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Yeah, some coffee shops will let you sell your art. Yeah, and good, like they don't, I've not found I've never known anyone who did very well selling art at a coffee shop. Like, you might make $50 here and there. People going in for coffee usually aren't looking, and it happens. You'll have a one-off who will buy stuff. Now, if it's a coffee shop that I think has built a reputation around having art you can go in and buy, maybe then. But usually when people see art on the wall, they assume it, I guess if it's advertised with a price, but it's not usually what people are going there for. So it's not the best. I mean, it gets your foot in the door somewhere, I guess. Now you can put on your resume that your work has been displayed publicly, but would you recommend hanging art at coffee shops as a starting artist with zero audience? If so, how would you set that up with a shop? You go talk to the shop, and they are going to have their own set of rules, what they want. Do they want it framed? Do they have hangers themselves? Like, they're going to have their own everything. Like, every shop is going to be different. So you just go talk to them, but keep in mind that that sort of situation, it's not uncommon to have the artwork stolen. Where is it being hung? Is it a place where kids with sticky fingers can easily like turn around in the seat and be smacking your art? Like, consider these things. Is that worth it? It's not to me. I won't do it. But I have in the past. I mean, there was a time, God, when was that? Would have been around 97, I think. I'm old. 96 maybe? 97? Somewhere around there. There was a coffee shop in Upland, and I was so excited to get on their list because every month they would have one new artist every month or something. I think it was once a month. And I went and, like, I was just so proud, the first time ever of hanging my work. So I don't want to say don't do it, but be cautious. I wouldn't do it now because my work is worth too much. Back then it wasn't worth anything. You know, really, what am I out? The cost of the canvas if somebody steals something or ruins it. But I mean, I would have felt devastated at the time. But it felt so good to put all my work up. So that was pretty exciting. So maybe I shouldn't bash doing that or like discount it too much. Would I do it now? No. But I really was excited when I first started. So there you go. But you'd have to go talk to that coffee shop. It's going to be a mom and pop. Obviously, don't bother with Starbucks or any kind of chain. So yeah, there aren't a lot of those out anymore, are there? Do you sign something with the owner to ensure if your art gets vandalized? They're not going to be responsible for it. I guarantee you sign anything with them, it's going to be, you're hanging this at your own risk. They are not going to be responsible for anything. Let's see. Have you worked with an art museum? No. I'm not at a stage where, like, I don't think any museum. I do a lot of fantasy, surreal stuff. What I do in the style that I do is just not popular for museums. Like, typically you'll go, they're usually going to be abstract crap. I mean, oh, that's rude. There are some pretty abstract. I have seen some that I would love to hang in my house, so let's not discount it all. But most of the people creating abstract are like, look, I slopped some paint on the canvas with my knee and my heel. Art. I feel so artsy. But yeah, I'm not. I've really never looked into museums because I've never been super impressed with what they had. It's like you look around and you're like, yeah, my stuff does not fit in with this stuff. Let's see. Unicorn Art said, please consider talking about how to start selling art at a future live stream, starting best practices, things to avoid. Start selling art where? Like, there's many different ways. I started on eBay. That's actually a good, okay, so we're going to be wrapping this up. That's actually a good, like, I need to screenshot that. Hold on, I'll just take a photo with my phone because I really like that topic. We'll save that for next week because that's a long one. Brittany said, I just found out more people have moved to the new Blue Sky social media app from X, better known as Twitter, in 2024. None of new social media apps don't ever really take off anymore. Unfortunately, you can't get people. I found this out the hard way. MeWe is an amazing app. Well, it was. I don't know. I haven't been using it lately. MeWe is amazing. You can't get people off Facebook. You can't get them off Twitter. You can't get them off any other platform. Although I would say I'm not unhappy with Twitter. Twitter's just a weird thing when it comes to art. I don't like that they're changing it to where you can't block people, because if you have to deal with stalkers, that's an issue. But that's a new, not good choice on Twitter. I'm guessing they're going to end up changing that. But yeah, every time there was a new social media platform popping up, everyone's like, oh, it's good for artists. It never is. It never ever takes off. And as hard as I tried with MeWe, like it's really hard because if any social media platform starts doing well, Facebook comes out and goes, they can't keep you safe. Only we can keep you safe. That's where hate speech happens, even if it's not. Like there's more hate speech by any person's definition on Facebook than anywhere else. And Facebook is full of more scammers than anywhere else, which makes sense because it's full of more users. But let's not pretend Facebook is keeping anyone safe either, but that was what they were doing to bash other platforms. They were making all kinds of crazy things. So no, it's very difficult. I just don't see any... I don't know how any other platform is going to take off. You have all of these pop up and I'm like, I was making, and it's not a bad idea to at least make a username on these, like Threads, Instagram Threads. I didn't even bother. Why? It was there like, oh, it's our counter to Twitter. You can't do Instagram right. Why do I think Instagram's going to do Twitter right? Like, I don't need more meta crap. So I never signed up for that because, again, why bother? And apparently most people don't. So yeah, it's a lot of, there are a lot of problems with getting new social media platforms off the ground, and I don't know what that answer is because you cannot get people off Facebook. I mean, younger people, okay, to be fair, if enough young people do, then you'd be okay, because Facebook, you're going to get more of the older crowd. But yeah, you just can't get them to move over, so that has been an ongoing challenge. Anyway, if you have not already, make sure to check out our moderators channels. The links for them are in the video description. Clark Fine Art and Joseph Fincham have live streams every week. Nick Fine Art, he makes some really, really handy videos. He's got some for color pencil, he's got some for painting. Definitely check his out. Link is in the video description. And what else? I think that is it. That was a lot of rambling tonight. I need to be more prepared for questions for next week. I like the let's talk about getting started and selling and first steps. I'll come up with, like, we'll go through all of that next week. That'll be definitely one of the big things we talk about. And I will see you guys next week. I'm probably forgetting something. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.